program, but we are at the second staging of the Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest 2025. And for the first time, we are going to be having two persons emceeing the program. I'll be one of those, and I'm delighted to introduce to you my co-MC. My co-MC is an educator, is a minister, and is a youth advocate who is dedicated to empowering young people through teaching music and spiritual mentorship. He said he's an educator and he has been working at the Yadas High School for the last 12 years. And he's passionate about youth development and national growth. He has composed award-winning songs including Shine On and Welcome to Jamaica. My co-MC serves as an associate pastor at the Church of God in Christ United, focusing on discipleship and men's ministry. He's married, and his wife, Carita Williams Lindsay, share a Christ-centered mission of service. And he's committed to impacting school, church, and community, and is guided by the belief that nothing is impossible once God is in the midst. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you my co-MC for this afternoon's event, Mr. David Lindsay. So let's welcome him.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? I'm sure. Show of hands those who eat this Sunday dinner already. The rice and peas, second on little. Oh God. Show of hands those who are worried about this Sunday dinner right now. Yeah, worried about this one I eat it up before you. If I were you, let's hurry up and go home before I get home before you, because I am a foodie. Alright? I am David Lindsay, and I am so happy to be a part of Jam UK Storytelling Fest. I love a good story. I love to tell stories, and I am here just for the stories. I don't know why you're here, but I'm here to hear people's stories. People's stories. All right. So I am going to, at this point in time, allow something that I love is the attitude of prayer. And we're going to invite at this moment Alan Linkfester to come and offer prayers in this place.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let us pray. Most righteous and everlasting Father, I come to you once again, mighty God. And today I come to you with a heart full of gratitude, mighty God. Thank you for taking us safely to this venue, mighty God. And thank you, Lord, for protecting us and our families from the ravages of Hurricane Melissa. Lord God, please let this event be a successful one, mighty God. And please let this event continue next year and years beyond. Please let this event get the relevant support needed, Lord, because this event is indeed an important one. Mighty God, I pray that you bless, guide, and protect everyone in attendance, as well as their respective families, Lord. And mighty God, please take everyone safely back to their respective homes. I pray in Jesus' name.
Alright, so I'm going to invite everybody at this point in time to stand for the singing of the national anthem. Just going to allow for the person who are coming in just to find their seats. Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Be our life through countless hours. To our leader, through His death for all. The response to duty's call, strengthen us the weak to cherish, give us vision lest we perish, knowledge send us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica land we love. Now, if I was at school and I was in the music room, I would have said to you that this choir is an A-class choir. Give yourselves a round of applause. You sounded so good a while ago singing one of the most beautiful songs ever, written for humans to listen. You may take your seats. So that's it. So we are here at a very, this function is like no other. It's a concert that nobody sings, nobody dances. We all tell stories and share that which we have written. And I don't know if anybody loves to write. People still keep journals. You keep diaries and those stuff. I say, dear diary, today was a wonderful. People keep those stuff still. Hold on, not the owner, I want on the church. You take diaries, children, you write about your day. That's good, all right? It's something as a teacher I love to see when the younger generation, know how to document their days, all right? So at this point in time, I'm going to invite my co-host, Earl Blake, to give some announce the welcome for this setting.
What if I say to you, Buenas tardes?
Buenos tardes.
All right, and if I say good afternoon or good afternoon in Jamaican patois, I'm sure we would all understand that. So let's go. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. All right, that sounds like we are right on spot. What a delight it is for me to welcome all of you to this 2025 Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest. It's on a Sunday afternoon. And you have so many choices. There's so many things that you could have been doing. You could have been eating your rice and peas. Some of you might have left it for later with chicken. Or you might have been listening to some good music or find something to drink. Or just relaxing. But it is so important that you made your choice. And I dare say you made the right choice to be here. And so we certainly appreciate the fact that you decided to grace us with your presence. You're here to really enjoy what I refer to as a literary banquet or a literary feast. And if you think about it, if someone invites you to a feast and you look and you see all this nice table spread, escovitch fish, curry, goat, you name it, pork, jerk, and all the nice things. But you say, boy, I'm not going inside. I want to stay outside. And you listen. How many people talking about how nice it is? And then your mouth start to water. You start to salivate. And you never come inside to taste the food. Could you truly say that you've enjoyed it? No. So for you to enjoy it, you have to partake of it. And so we encourage you to partake of this event. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this literary feast. This afternoon promises to be a great event. We're going to have some delicious servings of literary treats. You will enjoy listening to poems from adults and from our children. You'll enjoy listening to some stories. And you'll also enjoy listening to some excerpts from some of our authors who have written some books. We'll have presentation in person. We'll have some virtually. These presenters are overseas, but they have sent their presentation to share with us. We not only have presenters from Jamaica, the USA, but from Nigeria. And so we're in for a treat. And so as I look in the audience, I'm so delighted to see so many elderly ones. In fact, earlier one of the elderly ones got married to me. And so I am leaving here not just by myself. She tells me that she's going out with me, and I agree to that. The young ones, what a pleasure it is to see you here. And so when we think about it, I see that it's a lot of work that went in. Suzette, our founder, she has put in a lot of work, and all the sponsors, we'll acknowledge them later, and all the persons who helped to make this. I'm looking around the audience, and all of you are so special. I want to recognize the presence of a special gentleman here. They call him Pastor Harvey Holding, I understand. He is retiring shortly, right? And he was my mom's special pastor, so we're happy to see him. And yes, you can clap him. She was a clap. Give him a clap. And I'm happy to see as well Mrs. Weber Smith, who is principal of Islington Primary School. Mrs. Weber Smith over there, thank you for joining us. And all the authors and poets and all of you, I'm happy that you are here to share in this momentous event. Do you recall the days when St. Thomas was taunted as a forgotten parish? And they'll say, oh, you don't have no traffic light. Oh, you don't have no KFC. Look at on the road. But look at us now. We have rolling for traffic lights. We have rolling for traffic lights. And here the KFC is so open. I can't imagine when it's open. And we have nice, beautiful roads. We have the One Way Urban Center. And we also now have what? The Jam UK Poetry Fest. I don't think, yes, stop it. I don't think there's another festival in the entire world with that name. So we are delighted to share in this event. So you have come here to have a good time and to enjoy yourself. And so it gives me great pleasure to share the co-hosting with David over here. And we encourage you to laugh a lot, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So welcome again.
So as we set some context to what we are about here, just want to give you a brief overview of the Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest. So Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest was conceptualized by Suzette Bent and Barbara Campbell in the summer of 2022. The main objective of the festival is to highlight the Jamaican and British experience through storytelling and poetry. The literary connection between England and Jamaica is profound. This is evident in the local dialect and the Jamaican influence in the United Kingdom. This festival is geared towards instigating interest in written words, poetry, and storytelling in young people and adults. On Sunday, May 14, 2023, Mother's Day to be exact, the Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest entered Jamaica's literary atmosphere. Rowan Facey, Rastakura, Barbara Campbell, Jamaican-born UK-based poet Suzette Bent, and Lati Hamilton delivered highly visual and relatable poetry and storytelling. The open mic segment exposed hidden talent in the audience and the power of the literary arts. The first stage reflected a hidden hunger for literary food right here in the beautiful parish of St. Thomas, and entertainment and educational space. Put your hands together. All of what I'm talking about was conceptualized right here in St. Thomas. Yes, and we are just so happy to be a part of this legacy. And let me tell you something. I like to speak well about certain things that I do. This is not the second nor the last that this will be happening. It will be an annual thing, and you can look forward to it. So I want you to take notes and take back to your church, take back to your schools, that this event is something that you should invest quality time in. Alright? So we're going to move on, because I'm sure you came here to hear some stories, some nice poems, and there are some talented poets in the audience right here. And I'm going to...
So, David, tell me something.
Yes.
I was born in Seaport. Then I moved to Hartford from born, bred, St. Thomas. What about you?
I wasn't born in the parish, but I was...
Well, adopted now.
Adopted.
Alright, so you have been here about 12 years. So tell me something, David. When you think of St. Thomas, what readily comes to your mind?
Paul Bogle, the Morant Bay Rebellion, KFC, Highway, Stoplight, Nova Road, Russell Fall, Reggae Fall, all of them wonderful things. That's what I think of when I think of beautiful St. Thomas.
Well, it's immense if you wanted to talk a lot more, but we can talk only with David, because we're not going to spend the night here. You're right about that, David. Our beautiful parish here of St. Thomas is famous for its stunning beauty. Natural beauty when we think about the Blue and the John Crow Mountains, and its rich cultural and historical heritage. It is well known for so many things. Our athletes, our musicians, Miss World. You know where I Miss World, Tony? Yes, man. When you think about the Meritone music, you know who they're talking about? The Meritone band, the Blake Brothers. They started in the 1950s, and plenty more positive things. St. Thomas has given birth not only to those wonderful memories, but to living legends. We're talking about living legends such as our poets, our storytellers, our writers, our authors, and many more. The Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest 2025 features a segment on our authors. And we are very happy to share them with you this afternoon.
Some of our participants are not here physically, but they are in cyberspace. And as was mentioned previously, we are going to be experiencing some of their talent this afternoon. And we eagerly await our first presenter.
And Mr. Audiovisual Man, are you able to find that one, or we take one of the other presenters and come back to you? Do you have it? Dr. Peter Smith, you have that one? All right, so our first presenter we are going to talk about is a man who hails from Norris in St. Thomas. Can I see the hands of those from Norris? Where are you? All right, well represented in the house. And he has spent more than half of his life living overseas. He describes himself as a Jamaican transplanted in America, but a citizen of the world. Imagine that. He has traveled to more than 50 countries. A traveler. He has lived in 6. And he has intermingled with peoples and cultures across the globe. And such a wide experience gives him rich nutriment or fodder for his storytelling. In his spare time, he writes and is a keen observer of culture, identity, and everyday life. Our presenter shares his reflections through his personal blog called Through My Periscope. His writing blends memory, history, and lived encounters, thus revealing both his Jamaican roots and his global perspective. Beyond the writing, he operates a management consulting firm, and he's an adjunct doctoral faculty, what a big word that, at 2 universities in the United States. What that really means? It means that he's tutoring students who are doing their doctorate, or we call them PhDs, at 2 universities in the United States. And he's a committed philanthropist who dedicates much of his time to volunteer work that promotes social advancement. He is the president of the Islington Primary and Infant School Alumni Association. This afternoon's reading features excerpts from his blog Through My Periscope, and it offers us an intimate glimpse into his thoughtful and distinctive narrative voice. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our first virtual presenter, Dr. Peter Smith. So let's have a round of applause.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So my name is Peter Smith, and I am from just up the road in Norris. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. So I have had the privilege of traveling to quite a number of countries, living in some of these countries, working and studying in some of these countries. And throughout my journey so far, I've been having Jamaica right after Gilbert. I have had a number of experiences that have taught me a lot about how Jamaica is perceived outside of Jamaica. I have learned quite a number of things about how people are different but the same all over the world. And I started a blog to document information about some of these experiences. So I'm really happy this evening to be sharing one of the blogs. And this piece is actually a blog, a kind of introductory blog, just to lay the foundation of my journey from Norris, or where it all started with Norris. Alright, so bear with me, and I'm just gonna read from that blog introducing myself. And I'm sure that many of you are going to be familiar with some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in the blog. Okay, so again, my name is Peter George Smith. And my life began quite a number of years ago in Eastern Jamaica, where we are. It was almost Christmas time. By the way, my birthday is going to be on November 27th, which is going to be next week, right? So I arrived at the Royal doorsteps quite hastily in Norris. So as you know, Norris is in the town of Yalas, part of the historic parish that we are in. So it was at a point in time, just before Jamaica cut the Union Jack slaughter for good one August night. On that night, Jamaica declared to Queen Elizabeth, her mother, that she was all grown up and as such, big enough to move out on her own. I can't remember much about my infancy, except for what I have picked up from a dim, silent movie occasionally running through my head. It is of rain and water rising on the slightly sloping swath of land that separated our house from Collier Spring. Once, years ago, when I rewound the movie I ran it for my mother, she told me it reminded her of Hurricane Flora, which had devastated the eastern part of Jamaica a few years earlier. So that's when I started learning the game of connecting the dots. I had gone through my first hurricane so fearlessly that I only realized I had after the fact, thanks to the movie. Primary school time, I remember quite well though. The school I went to was on a little hill in Easington, a district across the big iron bridge that separated it from Norris. At both ends of the bridge still stand today the towers that form part of an old swinging bridge, relics of the days when plantation owners needed to traverse the Yams River. Whenever rain caught my friends and me on the way to or from school, the one at the western end provided shelter, for there were no houses in its vicinity that we could dash to in order to keep our books from getting soaked. The school itself was beside burying ground, where we were told two stories. One, slaves had been laid to rest when they had grown too tired to carry on and the earth had called them home, but no ships were available to take them back across the ocean. The other story is that it was a cemetery where people suffering from cholera or who had died from cholera were actually buried. So we used to occasionally take shortcuts through buried ground, to get to school in the mornings, especially if we were late. After school, we would take that route home only if we didn't have extra lessons for common entrance. But whenever we had those lessons, some would have gone down by the time we were done, increasing the risk that we might run into the unlucky that would be getting an early start on his night jobs. We did not think kindly of unluckies. In fact, we were terrified of them, so we kept out of their way. We did not want to upset them either. If we pointed at anything very wrong, like at a bird or a lizard, I'm thinking, we immediately had to bite on the offending finger. Chances were, I know there would be a dummy who, in retaliation to being pointed at, would make that finger rough till it fell off our hand. A firm but gentle bite was the antidote. Summers were long back then, broken up by carefree days, spent with friends catching Jenga in the Yabasri Road. On the days we were tired of the river, we set springes with dried from a piece of my mother's corn and peas crop to trap ground doves, white wings, and wild doves. Jenga soup and fried birds were culinary specialties we prepared in butter pans on wood fires, seasoned with salt and Scotch bonnets. Salt was cheap, and Scotch bonnets were free. But thinking back years later, I realized that the adults have lied to us when they tasted our food and told us it was good. Gathering mangoes in the hills and transporting them in cartoon boxes on our heads back down into lowland made our necks break. But it did not matter. For the spoils of a sweet mango will numb the stiffness and the pain later on. So long were the summers that by the time free paper won and we got back to school, girls walked with tush on the first day in their sugar-starched pleats, and boys strutting with seams standing proud like the Twin Towers. Many of us have forgotten the lessons of past term. Our teacher saw to it though, that the switches from the willow tree growing by the fence at the front of the schoolyard and the leather straps, said to be soaked in water, quickly plugged and refilled the holes that summer had punched in our heads, causing our times tables, verbs, and predicates to leak out. It is like in those formative years, growing up with my parents and siblings, my village parents and friends, that created the foundation for successfully wending my way to the present. I left Norris for good when I moved over to university in Kingston. But I still go back quite often, sometimes several times a year. So much so now that I feel at times like I have never left. I spend time with family and old school friends who still live there whenever I visit. My parents are now nearly departed, my mother years before my father. But some of their peers still live there, and showing up at their doorsteps in some of the most inaccessible places to say hello tickles my heart every time. They peer at me with those squinting eyes until recognition propels them towards me with shuffled haste. Oh Lord, and repeat that. McNally Seal, you don't forget we are Tom.
This young man is on a mission to create positive changes, especially in youth development. He's particularly passionate about the areas of youth empowerment and poverty alleviation. And thus he seeks to address these issues through his book, through his foundation, or through other initiatives. This young man is on a mission to empower youth to achieve their full potential by helping them to realize that their circumstances do not determine their outcome. I am very delighted to present to you a bright, dynamic young man, a change agent, and a man now it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our next presenter, Damar McQueen. Let's have it for Damar. Right, that's your man over there.
So I'm Damar McQueen, as was mentioned before, and welcome to the Jam UK Portrait and Storytelling Fest. Are you having an amazing time so far? Yes. Are you sure? Are you sure you are? Okay. So I have about 7 minutes to talk to you today. So I'm going to make the best use of it. So as was mentioned before, I'm the author of this book here, Rewriting the Rules of Success, a youth's guide to define societal expectations and achieving greatness. Right? Are you sure you're all good though? Yeah. Are you sure you're good? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Alright. Alright, so let me start off by saying thank you to Miss Bent and the other organizers for inviting me to today's event. Please could you give them a round of applause? So before I go in my presentation officially, I want to do a little icebreaker. And since my book is about success and rewriting the rules of success, I'm going to ask a simple question, and I need about 3 volunteers. My question is, what does success mean to you? So 3 quick volunteers. What does success mean to you? And I want you all to think about it for a second. And I'm going to be random, so you have to be prepared because I could be coming to you. So think about it for a second. What does success mean to you? What does success mean?
Success? Now that's a difficult one. Because what does it mean? It doesn't mean, success could mean money. It could mean driving a fast car. Or it could mean living a good life. Then what does it mean? I don't know the answer to that. But I know what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean like a fancy life. People look at that as success. But not success that is a being able to have money. Money is not success. But life, how you deal with God, and how you deal with yourself, that is what success is.
Please give him a round of applause. Okay, so who is my next victim? I think I'm coming over here. What does success mean to you?
My definition of success would be achieving things we set out to achieve, not necessarily material things, but just things that we have been striving towards.
Good. Please give him a round of applause. And then finally, I'll just ask one of the children. So, do you want to answer what does success mean? Alright, that's okay. It's a big question. Please give her a round of applause. Okay. So, you heard my introduction. So usually when people hear about Damar McQueen, they know of Damar McQueen as the former head boy at Mark Bay High School, the former student council president, now an author. I just finished my degree in political science at York University in Canada. So people would automatically associate someone like me with success. But I think that what you said was a very important point. Because success is very personal. What is success for you doesn't have to be success for me, and vice versa. So for some people, success might be driving the latest car. For some people, it might be the house on the hill. While for some people, it might be education and attainment. So success is quite different for different people. Do you agree? Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Right. So success is very personal. And so I wanted to write this book to young people who are on a mission to achieve success, but don't really understand what exactly success looks like, right? So I wanted to write a very practical book that breaks success down and make it achievable for young people. So with that being said, I'll just read a little short excerpt as to what the book is about. So rewriting the rules of success is simply a success guide for youth by a youth. It delves into the experiences of the author and his own journey to success, while touching on the success journey of some well-known individuals, such as Oprah Winfrey. Who knows Oprah Winfrey? Anybody knows Oprah Winfrey? Right. So Oprah Winfrey, and also that of youth trailblazers such as Marley Diaz and Greta Thunberg, to name a few. The book seeks to help position youth for success and help them become more certain about their journey to success and greatness. The book is a culmination of years as a youth leader and the life experiences, good and bad, that have shaped the author. Because I don't come from wealth, right? But success is possible no matter who you are or where you come from, right? So one of the rules in my book is leverage underestimation. What that means? It means see underestimation as an opportunity to do big things. Because guess what? We come from St. Thomas. Some of we come from Yellows. We come from different places. And people will automatically associate us with failure because of where we come from. Can I get an amen? Can anybody relate? But when you leverage underestimation and you step into rooms and spaces and you're intentional about seizing opportunities, then, and if God is with you, that is even an extra, right? Can I get an amen? Right? So success is attainable and achievable. And I wanted to send that message to young people of not just St. Thomas, but the Jamaica and the world, that success is possible. So what I wanted to do with the book as well was to make it very youthful. So what I did was to have songs at the end of the book. So each time you read a chapter in the book, each time you read a rule, there's a theme song to go with it. Right? And to break it down even more, I have what is called power steps. So the power steps are practical steps that you can take to achieve success on your journey to success and greatness. Right? Does anyone here want to be successful? Can I see a raise of hand? Amen? I'm hearing some amen, which is good. But so in closing, what I want to say to you is that success is possible. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter who are your father, who are your mother. It is possible, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not possible. I want you to repeat after me. Success is possible for me. Let me hear you say it. Success is possible for me. One more time. Success is possible. One last time. Success is possible. Thank you so much for listening, and do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Please give him a round of applause. Bright young man. And just in case persons want to get copies of your book, where are they available?
So Amazon and Kindle as well as I have
few copies. If you're interested in getting it, they make good gifts for young people. Check out the matter. And so I'm going to be making one announcement in the middle of the program here. You know, we have started pretty late. And some of us would like to have a good time and stay. but unfortunately we don't have the whole afternoon here. So I'm going to ask the presenters please to try and condense your presentation within the time allowed, alright? So this time I hand over to my co-host.
What was said a while ago made you excited? Make some noise in your room. I mean, straight out of my life, right? You're going to expect a better. I am a product of big great more than I myself. Alright, I'm so happy that such great minds are from St. Thomas. Because it's always said that St. Thomas suffers the most brain drain. The more brilliant minds go out from Kingston to build up Kingston City, God of foreign, but he's here and he has come to share, and it's wonderful what he's doing. Please put your hands together. So as if things could not get any better, things do get better at John Luque Storytelling and Poetry Fest. Coming to us at this time is a storyteller, a puzzle designer, a lifelong lover of anything that sparks curiosity. She blends creativity with logic. Now this Jamaican native crafts engage in books, jigsaw puzzles and board games that challenges the mind and sparks imagination. Her work invites readers and players alike to explore connections, solve mysteries, and discover the joy in the unexpected. Her name is Shawnette Duffus, and at this time I invite her to come and do a presentation titled 10 Steps to Answered Prayers and More. Anybody praying and not yet answer it? I think Shawnette might have a remedy for that. Please put your hands together for Shawnette Duffus. What kind of thank you applause, God?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Shawnette Duffus. But considering that you have more country than country, I am from Morocco, White. Anybody know where looking people Right, so they say it's bush, but I call it highly vegetated area. That's the park. Alright, so it is good to be here with you. I wasn't supposed to be here, just telling you a little secret, but I am here. That is good. Alright, so I'm happy for this opportunity to share with you. And first I'm going to introduce, so one of my puzzle books is about Jamaican patterns. So I use the Jamaican proverbs and some words and terms, created puzzles from them, and then at the back I would have a glossary, gives the terms, English translation and so on. And I have a dialogue and some others, but that is not why I'm up here, so let me get to the matter. I also have, before I get there, I also have a book of poems, but that is not being featured today. And this one, 10 Steps to Answered Prayers and More, is straightforward. And this is it that requested, she wanted a little spiritual biblical injection to this evening session, especially for this one to be featured. I am going to share, as it says, 10 steps, and the chapters are really short, so I'm going to just read. Based on the 10, I'll just read from 1. So the 10 steps: be specific, be knowledgeable, be obedient, believe, be bold, be sincere, be patient, be persistent, be attentive, be thankful, And then there's section 2, section 3, 4, 5. So some poems about prayer, verses or chapters in the Bible that can be used for different reasons, Thanksgiving and so on. So that's featured there. But I want to share from this chapter, be patient. Alright, so I'm going to share that step. Be patient. The reason why I chose this one, it has one of my favorite stories about that. I didn't write it, I heard it and I fell in love. So someone once told me that if I had to wait 5 years for something God promised me, I should look at the wait as being too long, but consider it as being 5 years of married life. So the more you wait, if God is going to give you what He promised, the longer it takes, the longer you're living for, and that in itself is a blessing, right? When you have prayed, wait. At times the waiting gets hard, and out of impatience you run ahead of God and take matters into your own hands. Wait on the Lord, you just don't know what is happening behind the scenes in the spiritual world. A case of particular interest is found in the Bible where Daniel prayed about a matter for 21 days. He prayed that long because he had not received an answer. At the end of the 21 days, the messenger of the Lord told Daniel that he, the messenger, had been sent with the reply from day one. But the enemy prince withstood him. God had to intervene. This is why the reply had not come earlier. And you can reference, see that in Daniel 10. Alright, just to cut it short, I'm going to read the story. One of my favorite stories is about the man riding in his horse-drawn cart. One day, a man was riding in his horse-drawn cart when the cart wheel fell into a ditch and stuck. And St. Thomas people know well what that means. Because we know we have a lot of, not potholes in the road, we used to, but we have the road in the potholes instead, right? So we know what it means. So it stopped. The man stepped down from the cart, assessed the situation, and then knelt to pray. The deity, or God he was praying to, answered from above the clouds, "Put your shoulder on the wheel." So that's the story. The cart wheel fell into the ditch and stuck. He got down, assessed the situation, knelt down to pray. And the deity answered, "Put your shoulders to the wheel." So, in a sense, at times you have got to participate in the answering of your prayers. So apart from us being obedient and having faith, God expects us to make an effort the right way. The right way. So we're not helping out God now, we have to be in alignment with His will, the right way. Not like what Abraham and Sarah did, with the story of Hagar, but by cooperating with God, you can do something. Considering that faith without works is dead. You must put your shoulder to the wheel. So, if you need a job, you can try sending out some application. I know that God is powerful enough to just send somebody to you. But we have to participate at times. You are a designer, you are a writer, you have to go out there and show your wares, and then God can bring persons in touch with you. So, what I leave with you today, when the cart wheel drop in the ditch, what must you do? Alright, thank you, you got it. And as I leave, I should tell you, I have my own website, it is thebookpage.shop. Right, so I have, and also books are available on Amazon as well. Alright, thanks.
Let's have a round of applause. If you would like to get a copy of any of her books, talk to her. She said they're available on Amazon. And she has hard copies, restrictions in the elderly. Talk to her today. They are right there. And so we're having a good time, and so we're moving nicely along the program. My next presenter was born and raised in St. Thomas. He's a singer, a poet, a general writer, and a mental health advocate. He was raised by his mother, a homemaker who was later trained as a teacher, and his father, who was a bus driver. His first artistic appearance was at the tender age of 3 years of age, when he got rave reviews at a local gospel concert. He was told by an old family friend that that concert was a full-length one, an expose of his vocal gifting that featured him as his sole performer. Since then, he made a name in his own town as a boy wonder, mesmerizing audiences, which he continued to do into adulthood. He has distinguished himself as an author with over 10 published works, and he has won several awards in the Jamaica Creative Writing Competition several times. Our presenter loves music too, and if you were to ask him what is one of his favorite songs, he'll tell you it may be Love Has Found Its Way by Dennis Brown. So ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to us Sean C. Harrison. So let's welcome Sean.
Good evening, everyone. Are you hearing me? Yes, I want to thank you, Smith, for having me. Thank you all for being here. And I am, as Mr. David mentioned, a writer of other things. And this is the book that I am reading from today that is entitled The Word of My Testimony. Simple yet miraculous accounts of God's workings in the life of Sean C. Harrison. So these are mostly unrelated, a series of mostly unrelated accounts of how God has worked in my life, used me to help and to bless others, as well as used others to bless me. And this reading will be speaking about a factual happening where I was used of God to, help someone who was in need, and it came out wonderfully. So this excerpt is titled Healing the Physician. A doctor is usually looked up to for the answers to healing when we sometimes have none, and often we never hear his or her cries for help and healing in turn. Many of them are elevated to the status of demigods, and we sometimes think they are impervious to pain. This is a true testimony of how a physician I knew found healing from her inner pain as I ministered to her. Working at the health department, the St. Thomas Health Department, sees one frequently crossing paths with physicians both on a professional and personal basis. And this was the case with a doctor I had been acquainted with since high school. She was much farther advanced in her grade in school than I was, being of course older. For many years, I never knew where she had gone to, and that she had even studied medicine, of all things. When we crossed paths again at the Princess Margaret Hospital, where she became employed, she would have shortly after arriving there experienced deep tragedy. Her spouse had died, leaving her with a small child to care for on her own. If I remember correctly, she had stated during that time that someone might have mentioned me to her, or perhaps she had come to be reacquainted with me working in the same health center on the same compound, where at times during the lunch period, we would sit under a large mango tree conversing. Whatever was the case, I would not have known till years later that a testimony was in the making. Having always freely shared my written material with others, it was like second nature to have automatically chosen some of my pieces for her to have and read, because I also do poetry. There were times during that dark period of loss and prior to that when we spoke deeply, and I would have given what encouragement I could have, even inside of my own struggle with mental illness, paranoid schizophrenia, that we also conversed about at times. So even before her spouse's death, we would have struck up a healthy camaraderie within which she expressed disillusionment with her medical practice. She had become very cynical and would have expressed doubt at her effectiveness in providing health care, also based on the socioeconomic situations of many patients. This response truly took me by surprise, that a physician would have lost the high sense of purpose characterizing that noble profession. Nonetheless, we had cemented a very good interaction. But finally one day, she would have exited that place of work, and I would not have seen her till years later, when in my very own dark period of the years 2013 to 2018, I met up with her both at the hospital and at a friend's home where I was invited for dinner. And then very surprisingly, at one of these meetings, she stated something in her own casual way of speaking that was totally unknown to me in all the time we interacted up to that very first moment. Years later, that I didn't even register the magnitude of in the immediacy of the exchange. And this is the crux of the testimony I give here today. She thanked me for speaking with her and for sharing my words, as unknown to me, she was contemplating suicide. Yes, suicide, all the time. And said in no uncertain terms that my ministering to her had saved her from the very act. She changed her mind about her intention because of the connection that we had and how we interacted. Isn't that great, friends? To say, that someone who himself or herself was broken would have also been able to bring someone else who was broken to a place of healing. She was pulled from the brink of self-harm. She related to me, and as I think about it all, I am humbled that a great physician could have used little old me, a mental patient who too contemplated this act many times and made one unsuccessful attempt years away from our interaction. Yes, I attempted suicide, but thank God I'm here still today. Yes, and so friends, we don't often know. Yes, thank you. We don't often know the way the seeds we plant go. We cannot see many times down the road how a word of cheer makes a world of change to a despairing soul. I would have thought on the surface that she was much stronger, but it just goes to show that even the best and brightest among us are subject to the very same rigors that the most ordinary of us face. Thank God that I could have blessed her inside of my own brokenness and also gained validation for my written material. Now I believe she has studied a branch of medicine that deals with broken souls and matters of the mind. I thank God that I was used to His glory in such a critical time of her life. May we all be our brothers and sisters keepers, knowing the thin line between hope and despair, life and death, sickness and wholeness, so the life which would have otherwise been destroyed would have come to a place of restoration. You all too can encourage someone along the way. You too can take the time to listen, to unburden a heart. Reach out and touch somebody's hand today. You could be saving a life. God be with you all. Thank you.
Story that inspires us and a story that encourages us to go on. I had the privilege of meeting Sean C. Harrison today, the man I read a little about, and I told him that his story is powerful, it's encouraging others, and we want to encourage him to continue to be a mental health advocate. Thank you, Sean C. Harrison.
Kind of used to a little more poem by hand. All right, there we go. I want to say something before I introduce the next presenter. I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. I might say it often through the show. That in this room is a wealth of knowledge. The person beside you is the next author. All they have to do is just pick up a pen. You know, if you're afraid your handwriting, write it in your notes app on your phone, and that information one day can become published material. I know one of the things that teacher and a minister I encourage people to do, document your life. Document your life. You may not be an award-winning publisher. Probably nobody knows your book on the shelf. But just document your life and leave it as a legacy for somebody behind you to pick up one of these days. The reason we have generational curses because we never write down the secret as to what happened or it started. So nobody in your generation don't know to skip the curse. You suffer in the curse and your children are going to suffer in the curse even more. You never write it down. It was one day, June 25th, we bumped me to a booth. And that's where everything started. So avoid walking too fast and bucking too. The person beside you has the potential to write amazing stuff, and I applaud you for that. That's trust me. Oh, Jesus. Oh God, I feel like I'm in church. Let me calm down before we call the altar call. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, not only do we have individuals who have written books, poems, and stories, but we have family members who have come together to record and preserve stories for the next generations to come. Something like what I was talking about, right? This shows the power of collaboration. When we work together, we can achieve so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking of a family. Earl A. Blake, Jennifer H. Blake, Veronica E. Walker Moody. They're all professionals in their fields. They are the product of the resilient and phenomenal woman, and their mother, Alice Maud Bassant, whose hard work, resilience, and sacrifice shaped them. Earl, her last son, has excelled as an educator, a banker who is retired from the small and medium enterprise of Scotiabank, Jamaica. He has earned a teaching diploma from Churches Teachers College and was later awarded a Bachelor of Science degree with upper second-class honors in economics and management. Earl is a true businessman and administration from the Mona School of Business at the University of the West Indies. He is a humanitarian at heart. He is an active member of the Morambe High School Alumni Association, Churches Teachers College, Easton Primary and Infant. The list goes on and on and on. And then we come to Veronica E. Walker Moody. She has distinguished in her field of banking, civil service, and nursing. She holds a certificate. It's that talented family, don't it? They don't leave no stone unturned. So when they do all of that, what we're going to do now? They do everything. Then come to Jennifer Blake. She's a multifaceted professional who is unafraid of pursuing her true calling. What's her calling? She explored teaching. That's a calling I'm called to also, yes. She returned to teaching her passion as rounded knowledge educator in their best-selling book on Amazon, Arise, Reignite, From the Fire Within, a riveting inspirational tribute to their mother. We see in their professional and philanthropic lives the resilient heart that nurtured and shaped them. Alice Maud Bassant. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our presenter, Earl Blake.
Reignite the fire from within, a riveting true to life account of a gentle giant and a loving mother. And so my sisters and I, in recognition of the tremendous work that my mom mom did, raising us as a single parent. Just before she passed in 2023, we penned this book. And so when we look at mom's life story, we see that she was a fearless woman. She was industrious. She was resilient, meaning she never gave up. And she was eager. On April 20, 2023, she died at the age of 98 and 6 months. And so her 3 children, the last 3, have done quite well in recognition of the tremendous work that she has done. And so my bigger sister Jennifer, when my father died in 1968, with so many children, her cousin from St. Elizabeth decided that she wanted to come and take one of my father's children because she did not have any. And so my sister Jennifer seemed to have been the one the Lord fell on. And here is what Jennifer has to say, and I'd like to share it with you on page 24 of our book. Here Jennifer says, "One day we were visited at home by a lady who claimed to be our cousin. I imagine that the telephone existed then, but we knew nothing about it. There was no way to contact Mama. But I believe that if Mama knew that the lady would be coming, then it was safe for her to be there. Mama arrived home from work at the usual time around 8 p.m. I found out later that night that the lady, our cousin, had come to take one of us to live with her and her family. What? She could not take my older sister because Mama needed her. And my younger brother, that is me, and sister needed her too. Up until today, I am unclear who this lady intended to take home with her. But I couldn't bear the thought of seeing my younger brother, that's me, or sister leave. And so I volunteered to go with her. Therefore, at the tender age of 7, I was separated from my beloved family. Many years later, Mama told me that she hated what had happened, and she cried every single day. But she knew that she needed help as she was at the breaking point financially. Papa died suddenly, and all the responsibilities of caring for 4 young ones had been left to Mama. She was alone, and so she reached out to a family member for temporary help. My mother was an excellent problem solver. I believe that she weighed all the possible solutions to any crisis she faced and chose the best one. My memory of how I dealt with family separation is vague, but I surely remember Mama visiting me along with my brother and sisters. Yes, Mama found me. I saw her many times when she had to leave, but she also knew that her precious child was well cared for. My mother found out 2 years ago that her name was no longer on my birth certificate, and she wasn't mad. She wanted to know how this could have happened, and she wanted to have it corrected. When I told Mama that my cousin had legally adopted me and that it was claimed that she had signed an agreement to it, Mama strongly denied it. Her exact comment was, and here I quote, "We could never give away any of my big name after we had already it." She decided that she was going to resolve it by reporting the matter to the police. However, after I made several pleas with her not to do so, she calmed down and did not pursue the matter legally. So you see Jennifer's story. You want to hear one from Elaine now? Well, Elaine is the younger one. And so I'm going to share with you Elaine's story. Elaine lives overseas, and so she visited Mom once or twice per year. And it was always a joyful occasion. And here, I'd like to share with you Elaine's story, which comes from page 124. And here Elaine says, the same one about her. She says, "It had been 20 months since I last saw and hugged my mother. And as I prepared to visit her in December 2021, I could not help but wonder whether she would remember me. Would she be able to have any kind of meaningful discussion with me? Her general appearance I knew for sure would be the same, because I had seen her on the Zoom birthday party held in her honor on October 2021. A thousand memories flooded my mind, and I could not help but reminisce about the kind, compassionate, loving, resourceful, and sometimes sassy person who I'm privileged to have as my mom. And so Elaine visited her, she said, she visited her, and she realized that mom was kind of lucid. She couldn't recall some of the things. And so her husband knew, my mother knew him as Sister Chini's son. And so she would always say, Sister Chini's son, you mean Leroy? He said, yes, it's the same one. And so after several attempts that oriented her to me, she finally got it. I was her daughter Elaine, otherwise known as Veronica. Most people who know me more closely refer to me as Elaine. This gave me great joy to know that she finally recognized me. She kept insisting that she be taken back to her room. She was in a nursing home. I was sad because she had lost her vibrancy, and I missed her great sense of humor at times. I wanted to refresh her memory and wondered whether she still liked to have money in her possession. My mother loved money. So here's the conversation. Elaine said, Mama, do you have any paisa? No, paisa is the Hindustani word for money. She always talking about her paisa. So Mama said, no, we don't have any. So Elaine said, you want some? Mama said, give me some now. So that is Earl, handed mother a Jamaican $100 bill. And she quickly recognized it as $100. She then gave it back to him. I gave her a US $1 bill, which she took and said it was $100. I gave her another dollar bill. She smiled and held on to it. These she kept and would not return. We all chuckled because when Mama was in her prime, she really loved to have money. Mother always saved her money and asked some more even when there was no need for it. I recall a few years ago when Jennifer and Alfred were cleaning our mother's house. They found quite a lot of money hidden all over her room. We were not at all surprised because she always had money, even when she said she had none. So you see, my mother was a money lady in the truth. And then you knew that about my mother, you call her a spaslant. Well, that was Elaine's story. Now I wrote the bulk of this book, and so I have a little bit to tell you about my mother. No, my mother was poor financially, but she was rich in integrity. Listeners, I recount a real-life experience with my mother. And it is very timely I decided that I would on because we just had a terrible hurricane. And so the one I'm going to share with you has to do with an experience related to Hurricane Gilbert back in 1988. Like most Jamaicans, on Monday, September 12, 1988, we experienced the onslaught of Hurricane Gilbert, often referred to as the Wild Gilbert, because of the devastating effects of that Category 3 hurricane. Mother had said Hurricane Charlie in 1951, which caused widespread destruction in Jamaica. She had not experienced anything of the magnitude of Gilbert. What would we say about Melissa? No. And so we found that the government of Jamaica, in an effort to alleviate the suffering of those who were severely affected, offered building stamps. Anybody inside here remember those building stamps? Yes. And these building stamps could be exchanged for building materials and the hardware. And for those who completely lost their houses, they would get $10,000. And for those who lost their roof, they would get $3,000. And so we were living, we had a lady, we called her mother Skirby. And so just before the hurricane, she pulled out into a boathouse and went to live with her daughter. And so the foundation was still there, and it's only our fence that separated us. And so, given that this concrete foundation was on the adjoining property to the one we occupied, some of our neighbors were well-intentioned. They suggested that Mother make a claim for that house. Are you following my story? Yes. It was tempting, and it seemed like a good idea since we would get $10,000. We could certainly benefit from any additional financial resources, especially after the hurricane. So we discussed the matter as a family, and although we desperately needed the funds, we reasoned that we may have been able to succeed. But what if the authorities discover that we have committed a false claim? Our reputation would have been tarnished. As challenging as the conditions were in 1989, we were content to do what was right in the sight of God. We were determined to do the right thing, even when others were not looking. Mother Alice Maud said, and here I quote, "What hide from man cannot hide from Master God." And personally, I'm happy that we were poor materially, we were rich in honesty and integrity. Many years later, I realized that Mother taught me what it really means to be a person of integrity. You love that story? Let me hear your other applause. All right, coming down. Notice I said Mother was poor financially, but she was rich in integrity. The next one I share with you comes from page 43. Mother was poor materially, but rich in security consciousness. And listen to this one now, and I hope you are going to get this one here. Now, so security consciousness, let me see if I find that one there now. Let me see if I get the page. Right, it said 43 to 45. Let me see if I get it. Right, yes, I think I have it here. So now. So it was the custom that since I live in Mandeville, I would go home and see Mother weekend or every 2 weeks and so on. And here my story goes. I suppose the custom I visited Mama on a weekly basis, then fortnightly, and eventually monthly basis, to deliver her money and in food provisions that I purchased for her. So, on one Saturday afternoon during my visit, as soon as I handed her monthly allowance, she took out some money, interested and not, the stocking with her socks foot. She tightened it, and then she tied the string on her brassiere, and then she went through the gate. So I said to her, "So, Mama, where are you going?" She said, "We soon come back. Me and God don't go away, me and Miss Little." So I said, "Not why? I just come and you done already." Mother said, "I trust one pack of soap at the shop and food down away in the shop. And now that I get my little money, I have to go and pay the people there. Otherwise, they are not going to trust me again." When he operated a little shop in the square at Artis, and Mother was very fond of him. And sometimes she wouldn't bother to cook, so she'd go and trust her food on the way. So I said to her, "Oh boy, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe you do that. You must stop it. People must be thinking that your son who is a bank manager and your two daughters who live overseas are not supporting you. So dear Mother, now, you talk to their master. You don't know how much a clock has strike. You think say me want them want to come back down the little house when we done at church at that time? You can say anything you want to say, but he who feels it knows it. Me not play big shot. Furthermore, coward man keeps some bone." So I said, "So what do you mean by that?" "Here, Mother, if me buy everything for cash, then people in the district will think that we have plenty money at home. And when we're not at home, especially at night when we're not at church, they will come and tear down the little house and rob it. You have to start to live in this time is all. Coward man kicks one bone and he's a coward woman." So you see how my mother was smart? Alright, I tell you. Now, the final one I will share with you is that she was a witty woman. And those who knew her knew that she a witty woman. And I tell you, there was a special gentleman in our church that she really loved. And when she loved you, she loved you, And when she's not with you, she's not with you. Right? She's not going to play a hypocrite. And so, as I told my father that in 1968, and it was reported that my father was a nice, handsome, curly-haired man, brown color from St. Elizabeth, And it was said that in the Thomas seaport, in Blackbird, Lover, it said that there was one that named Olga. We always call her Olga. We don't even know Jesus, but that's what we call her. And we even wondered if she had any children. My father. So here's my story. On one occasion, I was sitting on the veranda of mother's home in her teens when her beloved pastor visited. I want you to listen carefully. As was the custom, he greeted her cheerfully. He said, "Hello, Sister Bass." So the pastor and I conversed for some time, but I don't really remember the exact conversation. But mother wittingly taught her special pastor lesson, which I am sure he will never forget. So listen to the conversation. So here, mother, "Pastor, you know I never talk to ugly man." So pastor says, "So Sister Bass, what do you mean by that?" So I said, "My mother, so what do you mean, pastor?" Then she looked at him and said, "Just look at my children there." You don't get that one? She said she don't talk to ugly man. And pastor never understand what she means. And she said, "Just look at my children there." Alright. So in this audience, I believe the pastor is here. Is the pastor here? If he's here, can you raise your hand and say him here? Sing right over there. So give him a round of applause. He was fond of my mom and he looked out for her. And she looked out for him. So every time I bring the money, she has to put away something and she say, "Yes, Mr. Martha, my pastor, This is something like my pastor." And no matter you couldn't stop her, so I just leave them alone. And she said, "My pastor look out for me, and when they get me chicken, put up my chicken neck and me gizzard and what? Pastor look for me." And so we want to say special thanks to you, Pastor Harvey Holding. And at this time, it gives me great pleasure to present him with a special copy of our book in recognition of her love and support for my mother. We are asked to come. Thank you very much, sir. I hope you will have this. I can sign it later on. Thank you so much for taking care of us. Alright, so let's have a round of applause, please. So, there's so many stories that I hope you enjoy that is just a little bit. And if you would like, there's so many stories in this book here. There are 3 parts for the 3 authors. I spent the longest time with my mom. And so we have copies of the book over there. They are available. They make very good gifts. And I've gotten tremendous support from all persons I know. It has the status of being a bestseller on Amazon. And so it's a very nice, easy to read book. And so if you'd like to support it, proceeds from the sale of this book fund scholarships to needy students at Seacoast Primary School where she attended in 1932. So if you'd like a copy of the book, we have copies here today. So thank you for listening to the excerpts from our book, and I hope you enjoy it and some of you enjoy.
Story. I tell you, they don't put it out at notes. Go home, go write in a family story, write in our book. Yes, man, it's good to document stuff that happens in the family. That when the grandchildren want to know how everything come about, you can go to them, go read it in the book, alright? Yes, man. So, we are going to don't. We don't feel a vibe right about now. We don't feel a vibe? Man, anybody affect what the rice and peas? Yeah. Just make sure we don't reach out before you. You know that. Oh. Alright. So we are going to go to another segment at this point in time. The virtual presentations from poets that are based over the sea. So we are talking about foreign poets. Yes.
Thank you, David. And at this time, we're going to share with you some virtual presentations from poets who couldn't make it, but they are overseas. And the first one we'll share with you is Rohan Facey. Rohan is from St. Elizabeth. He's a teacher by profession. He was the top writer in the Jamaica Creative Writing Competition in 2019 and 2021. He's a justice of the peace, and he networks well with writers. Rohan believes that every effort should be made to improve the literary offerings to Jamaicans, both at home and in the diaspora. Rohan journeyed from St. Elizabeth in 2023 to Leverton House right here, and he served up literary foods to the audience. He served up poems that reflected the resilience of the Jamaican people. And at this time, I ask you to listen to our poet now, Rohan Facey.
And I will share a few of my poems with you. I trust that you will enjoy them. The first one is called After Melissa Left. After Melissa left, I fetched the broom to sweep away the residue of her wrath. Last night, she kicked and screamed, ripped and slashed to her heart's content, like a demon on a rampage, spirit numb. The morning woke with a start, gaping, shell-shocked at the magnitude of her wanton doings, her creation of a world. She had promised to come visit my house, but I did not believe. Philly language. Them say me talk bad. Them say me come from country bush. And that the words that come out of my mouth no sound like English. And them say if me ever go Buckingham Palace and talk, the Queen will have turned her nose in disgust, cringe and say she don't understand. But I feel language. Some of you in and get educated and stush and say they can't talk like that anymore. Then arrive now. But I feel language. I feel language though, them scan it, mock it, and say is for the uneducated. But I feel language. So around, if we pluralize words and say, boy them, woman them, and close them. So it's what? If we cut off the age of some words and put an age on some words, them say, me can't talk with a court house because instead of your honor please, me say, piranha please. So the judge shut me up and said, he will charge me for contempt, whatever that means. Them say, me can't talk on TV because me sound too brawling and brutal. But if they give me a chance, I will put accent on our patois because I feel language. Learn English, yes, but remember say, no sweet like we mother tongue patois. It showcases with history, with culture, with heritage, with uniqueness. And it set me apart from the whole wide world. I feel language. Vigilante justice. For a dastardly deed, blood must run. Blood must run. We must lynch justice without an iota of fear. We must bring sudden judgment without a shadow of fear. Blood must run. Blood must run to feed the hungry soil. Yes, Blood must run to feed our thirst for excitement, for drama. Blood must run to match our beliefs. Stereotypically you say, but this is our right way. The love is a mill, slow at cranking up, slow at grinding, but our fists and knives are faster yet. Our eyes will always flash righteous fury, and our feet drip with opposing God. Small, we will go home, our wrath appeased, but then later we will ask questions, reflect. Misbehaving guns. Midnight blade like a butchered fowl. A mother clutched at her stomach in remembered labor pains. Bang, bang, bang. The guns misbehaved last night, beloved. Screaming, ranting, sputtering curses like a vile man given too much liquor. Cracked windows gaped at the sudden nakedness of the morning. Doors, still traumatized, remained closed. Silence towers like a monster and clothes in fiendish triumph. For the guns misbehaved last night, beloved. Thank you for listening.
So we're gonna return up. There we had it from Rohan Tracy, and so we're gonna move nicely onto the program. So David, can you give us an exciting?
So, 2, check 1. There we go. All right. So, we're still in the virtual segment, and I have a script with me. It's the beauty of it. But there's a particular name on this program. This particular gentleman is not from Jamaica, obviously. He is from Nigeria. And for those persons who love to watch the Nigerian preachers, and we get the word but not the name, right? So, you know what I did? I did like a primary school trick. Had to break the name up in syllables so I don't butcher the person's name. So hear me try to pronounce with great clarity and accuracy. This name, person goes by the name of Ugochukwu Dureke Wilson. Did I get that correct? I hope I did not butcher it. Let me try again. Ugochukwu Wilson Dureke. So he was educated, as I said, in the country of Nigeria. In 1995, he came to Jamaica and served as a teacher, part-time lecturer, minister of religion, justice of the peace, and mentor. He's also a writer. He entered the Jamaica Library Service National Reading Competition 12 times and was the parish champion 10 times. Amen. 6 times he won Best Book Review Prize. In 2024, Mr. Dureke became the national champion, the highest score award winner, and the best poetry analyst prize winner. Besides, he is a multiple JCDC awardee for creativity, writing, and speech. He is the recipient of a Writing Fellowship Award from iFunk Residency and Initiative of the United Kingdom. Mr. Dureke is a 4-time recipient of the Gleaner newspaper Letter of the Day Prize, 2 writing grants from 2 private sector organizations. He has received multiple awards and citations for philanthropy, community development, and his effectiveness in teaching, and the list goes on and on. This is an accomplished individual, one to whom I admire just reading about what he has done with his life. And if anyone said it before, start the writing process. So we are now going to be tuning in to a presentation from, let's try calling him again, Ugochukwu Wilson Duque.
All right, so let's give it up.
Hello everyone, welcome to the second speaking of the John Duque Poetry and Storytelling Festival. My name is Wilson Duque, Nigerian born Jamaican. I am happy to be part of this grand occasion. I met the organizer, Suzette Bent, through the Jamaica Library Service National Reading Competition. And I met Alan Infesta, another writer and poet, through the JCDC Creative Writing Competition. I'm happy to have this opportunity to share some of my poems with you, and I know that we are going to have a wonderful and grand time on this occasion. Thank you. The first poem I'll be reading is entitled For a Better World. I long for a world that is devoid of hatred, malice and discrimination. I long for a world that has no segregation, no marginalization. I long for a world where all people live in true love. Yes, live in true love, which comes from above, like a dove, permeating black people's heart, brown people's heart, white people's heart. I long for a world without ethnic cleansing, a world without political and religious uprising. I long, and I long for that world. The next poem I will be sharing is entitled Mother J.A. She's a beauty with an imposing biological frame. Her presence exudes an indescribable charm. She's very calming. Her movement speaks of grace. She's a quintessence of human beauty. She's the Queen of the Caribbean. Today, she sits with a heart full of aches, a face stained with tears. There's trouble in her home. Some of her children have been killed by their brothers. The Caribbean Queen is sad. Alas, 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 beneath such an unparalleled beauty lies a troubling situation caused by a few heartless sons. Mother, Queen of the Caribbean, cheer up, better days are ahead. The next poem I would share with you is entitled Sometime with Ivan. When Ivan came, I saw for the first time the fury of nature. The land was pelted and drenched with water. I saw the fury of the wind as it tortured and tormented the trees around my abode. While Ivan wrestled with some trees, he flattened and dropped down power lines and poles. I knelt and prayed severally for God to keep my roof, because I had heard of what happened to Miss Matty's house and Masuperat's house when Gilbert came. The night came and I had a nightmarish experience with Ivan. In the clash between him and the physical elements. I heard some sound, kerr, 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 kerr. My eyes and thoughts roamed and wandered about. I wondered if my roof or my neighbor's roof was lifting off. I muttered to God, please, Lord, keep my roof until morning. Can't afford to lose it to the winds now. As Iran intensified his attack, I heard the trees whistle intermittently. I asked God, does this wind ever get tired? The line seemed endless and eternal. It was an agony, like the trees. I was being tormented. His was a visit I would not want for the rest of my life. I would also like to share another poem from my book entitled My Sunrise. This is entitled Life Without Walls. I have been in this avenue, a residential area, for a month now. Every day I see children leave their parents' apartments, go over to other apartments, and call out their peers for play, for games. As I watch these children, I cannot help but admire their innocent and humble lives. They build no walls, they create no barriers between themselves and their peers. Rather, they mingle and share their humanity. On the contrary, the adults are filled to the brim with ego and self-importance. They erect walls thicker than the walls that hold their apartments. Truly, this world would be a better place if grown-ups and children's sensibilities. Thank you. This poem is entitled Miss Slow, We Salute You. Miss Slow, Miss Slow, we salute you. You are greater than that. Give all to you. You Miss Slow, give to the culture some structure. So we power you. Miss Slow, Miss Slow, you give to the factor. Voice like a little boy. So we salute you. Miss Slow, Miss Slow, we celebrate you for what you do. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a slight change to the program. We're going to get the children. First, before I do that, I just like to acknowledge our sponsors. Without them, we would not have been able to stage presentation. And so we'd like to say a special thank you to the following sponsors, the friends and family, Mr. Ross Wilson, IDD Magazine, Mr. Robert Johnson, Ms. Melanie Brown, Mr. William Johnson, Marigold Smith, Miss Daphne Gallant, and all the family. So let's have a round of applause for them. So we're going to listen to our young ones now for change. Alright, so we're going to listen to a reading of poems by our children. The first one we listen to is Shayna Smith, where Shayna she's going to be Dust Top by Louis Bennett Cole. So let's share what Shayna
Dirty Top by Dr. Louise Bennett. Do a patapon, big enough. River flood, but water scarce. Rain a fall, but dirty over. Things about that nowadays when I ask somebody how them do, then free you take it back, so they not answer you. Now care much of their word for our time stealing we shot. We not fight. All time I deal with. Them might raise wages, but one pound can come up here and we feel no merriment. For 10 pound can come with food and 10 pound can with pay for rent. Starfish gone up, mackerel gone up, pork and beef gone up, and when rice and butter ready, then just go for holiday. Cloth, boot, pig, and needle gone up, ice, bread, taxes, water rate, cursing and gasoline gone up, and the pound devalued. The price of bread gone up so high that we have to grieve the cut we have on bread and turn dumpling refuge. All them magas Maria were going like fatty sin. All them were fast with me. I left them to dumpling. Sun a shine and pot a fire, but things not right. Pick no enough. Rain a fall, river they flood, but water scarce and dirty to love.
Yes, the talent turn up. We see the future. So that was Shirley Smith, and that was her rendition of the more popular Louise Bennett poem, Dirty Tough. Anybody experienced the Dirty Tough of recent? She talked about the price of bread, but I don't think Miss Lou know how much free bread right about. No, you should know how much free bread should have turned that grade, left, right, and all over the place. Don't. Well, that's the my bread. Alright, okay. Right about now, bread is a delicacy, I cannot afford it. Alright, so we are in the young poet section, and I know that most persons been anticipating, this section of the program, and so we can fast forward a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, the next young poet to come here her name is Tesson Foster. And did I call that name correct? Yes, man. And it's like Tesson of our fan club, What the fan club there? Make some noise there, man. Yes, and she will be doing this poem titled The Moon by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Robert Louis Stevenson. The moon has a face like a clock in the hall. She shines and thrives on the garden wall, on streets and fields and harbor quays, and birdies asleep in the forks of the trees. The squirrelling cat and the squeaking mouse, the howling dog by the door of the house, the bat that lays in bed at noon, all love to be out by the light of the moon. But all the things that belong to the day, cuddle to sleep to be out of her way. And flowers and children close their eyes, till up in the morning the sun shall arise.
Alright, next up on the young poet section, let me try to call her name properly because the name look pretty. It's Tamalia Foster. She'll be reciting the poem titled Butterfly by Shawnette Duff. Was one of our poets. This is nice. No, this is a nice touch. Yes.
I want to be a butterfly and fly way up to the sky.
Put your hands together for the young poet. Come on. Yes. Earl?
So Mr. Duffus, I hope she did justice to your lovely boy. And so we're going to move in on to another young one. We're going to be listening now to Tori and Ricky's Mother to Son by Langston. So let's start with Tori and Ricky.
Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal sphere. It had taps in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. Bare, but all the time, I've been a climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark, where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't turn back, don't sit down on the steps, cause you find it kinda hard. Don't you fall down, for I still going for me, I still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal sphere.
I note very that our young ones are doing justice to the presentations. And so we'll move now to our next young poet, Tremaine Ricketts. A cat named Rat. This one. By Sean Duff. So listen to Tremaine now as he delivers a cat named Rat. Very intriguing.
Put your hands together for Tremaine as he comes to deliver.
Dropped by Sean Duffus. One day I saw a great big cat. I looked at him, but he looked back. I was afraid of his great size. His teeth looked as he would bite. I ran away as fast as I could. And when I stopped, there the cat stood. It was a rat that looked like a cat I knew. Far away like one million.
All right. Whoa! And I tell you, it takes a lot of courage to come up. Even someone that does.
It does.
Come up stage here, those are me. So we have to commend these young ones. So David, this is right over to you.
Alright, so we're still in the young poet section, and this is a chance for them to shine and glow. Because guess what? Poetry is not old, it's every age in this room, and as long as you have something to express, it can become a poet. So at this point in time, we're going to invite our next young poet, Amelia Barrett. She will be doing the poem, I Shall Return. Put your hands together for Amelia Barrett. And this poem was originally written by Claude McKay.
I shall return by Claude McKay. I shall return again. I shall return to laugh and love and watch with wonder eyes. At golden noon, the forest fire burned, wafting their blue-black smoke into sapphire skies. I shall return to loiter by the stream that bathe the brown blades of the bending grasses, and realize once more my thousand dreams of water rushing down the mountain passes. I shall return to hear the fiddle and fife of village dances, the delicious tunes that stir the hidden depths of native life. Stray melodies of then remembered tunes. I shall return again to ease my mind of long, long years of pain.
Wow, put your hands together for Amina Barrington. She shall return. Yes. That was good, right? That was good, right? That was refreshing? Yes, man, that's one really good. Still in the Young Poet section, another Young Poet of Grace this evening stage is Anicia Gray, reciting the poem Picture Patterrain by Anicia Gray and Suzette Ben. And this sounds like an original, straight out of St. Thomas, don't it? Yes, man. Oh my. No words. Wow. She took the stage by storm a while ago. No one, put your hands together for one more time. Show some appreciation in the house.
See, when we train them from such a tender age, can you imagine when she comes of age? I mean, some of the older ones in the audience here. If you want a better call than you, you're going to say, no sir, no sir, no sir. You're shy, you're shaking. But you notice, she came up and what a privilege it is to have such a young one in your audience. And so we're moving nicely along. Now, I hope I get this name right. Suzette, is it? Kaliana McClarty. She will do Tar Baby by Suzette Ben. So let's listen to Kaliana. All right, you want to hold back?
Put your hands together.
Tar Baby by Suzette. My skin dark orange, but they call me witch. My skin blackness go unshine, but they say a bad sign. Them call me all kind of name, that my skin become a bad shame. The name of me hate and make me angry, and when they call me Tar Baby. She blacky, she bound with darkness skin free. Lord, she outrun the darkness, and part of her only weakness. Tar Baby stick like a glue, that me start to believe and true. Them love her for my skin for come relief, but it left me in a pain and grief. The years have passed, I'm a grow up tall and slim. Tell people some of a try modeling. A scout spot me and give me a try. The contract bring tears to me eye. Me turn up me game and do me thing. Milan, Africa, Paris, come calling. Struck better than Tara, Alexander, Yomi. And me cover SM, Bojan, Ebony. I yard, but by a new match and a Christian. The hypocrite them hold on their head and a hand. When me see them, remember the mockery. But me tell them, say, Tar Baby, I know Star Baby.
Can I get a whoa?
Tar Baby, no. Good job, give it up. hands, God. They had big hands club, you know. Must be so proud. And so now we're going to listen to Tafari James. Where is Tafari? Is there? Tafari, right. He's going to do for us Windrush by Suzette Bento. So let's share on Tafari.
The Cleveland House and family, in a rush to rebuild England, the ship down in a rushing wind, 500 strong Jamaicans, them walk them through them sweat, to build a land where all them are dead. Them take bitter like a grain of salt, the cross help with a fault. Them treat the family like a disposable, the skeptical trouble, like the rushing wind upon the seas, just as cold and them on the breeze. We say, the man grateful like a, but soon I'm gonna get tripped by my gun. The wind no rush, the wind no rush. Nobody can say, hush, hush.
Thank you very much. Tafari and our young persons are really doing a fantastic job. So let's move right along, David. You have the next two.
This section is exciting.
It's the same young ones, you know?
Yes, I am excited to hear them speak. I am excited to hear them express themselves because poetry is seemingly a lost art in the school, especially the schools, and this is an opportunity. And already as a teacher, I am taking notes and ideas to bring back to school right about now. So, without any further delay, we have another young poet. We don't want more young poets? You sure? If you want more young poets, the young poets. Alright, you've been having disappointed to know. Romario Mitchell is next on stage. He is coming to recite Harlem by Langston Hughes.
Harlem by Youngstown Hughes. What happened to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore until? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crystal sugar pour like a surface sweet? Maybe it just sucks like a heavy mood, or does it explode?
Alright, let's hear him on.
Young poets are taking over. You know, can I hear some of the older poets in the room say, wait till my turn. It's the young poets' time. Right? We have another young poet, Jermaine Mitchell, is coming to tell us, to tell the gods to rest. By Rowan Facey.
Tell the gods to rest by Rowan Facey. Tell the gods to rest so I can walk in peace, eat in peace, and sleep in peace. I hear them shattering windows, tearing flesh, splintering doors like scavengers. Tell the gods to rest because for too long I have to dash on their bed when they begin to bark. And I have to clap my hands over my ears when the bloody choirs begin to sing. They have ordered too many funerals and spread too much fear. They took one of my classmates last week. We cried rivers in the schoolyard, placed flowers on his desk, and wrote tribute to bless his memories. Tell the gods to rest, so I can go to school and do my best.
I endorse that message. Tell the gods to do what? Rest. Young poets are here, well done. Yes.
And so we come to our final young poet. Our young poet is going to speak to us, or read for us, Ibrahim Traore by Suzette Bento. And let's welcome Shavon Laws. Did I get it right?
sing in a cool, everybody asks a who. Some expect the worst, but they put Burkina Faso first. Young, strong and black, leader from the front, not the back. In different headache and misery, in turn macaroni and macaroni. Abraham Traore, very proud. So me a shout it loud, loud. Abraham Traore, Africa's brightest star. Spread the news near and far.
Those who make us proud, yes, clapping. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, this has brought us to the segment where we end the young persons. I have to ask David, could you read that acknowledgement for us?
Sure, no problem. So we just want to acknowledge our sponsors for this amazing festival that we're all enjoying so far. Mr. Newton Affleck, Mr. Ralston Wilson, IB Unalism, I hope I got that one correct. Mr. Robert Johnson, Miss Melanie Brown, Mr. O'Neill Johnson, Mrs. Marigold Weber Smith, Miss Daphne Gallant, and the Walker family. Those are our sponsors. Please put your hands together for them. And it would not be for them. All this would not be happening right.
Thanks, David. And so we are going to go back to where we were dealing with the adult poets. And so we're going to be now listening to some of our poets who are here with us at Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest 2025. And so we are going to be listening to Monique Rowe. Monique is here. Can I see Monique? All right, Monique is right over there.
Hi, Monique.
And so Monique was born and raised in St. Thomas. She's an islander at heart. Her love for adventure and the power of storytelling led her to pursue studies in communication, arts and technology at the University of Technology. Her writing journey began the moment she discovered the thrilling words of Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, thus sparking a lifelong passion for crafting stories. When she's not writing, you'll find Monique journaling, reading, or cafe hopping across her beautiful island. Monique is a multi-award-winning poet and earned the Choice Writer of the Year in 2023. A noteworthy writer in 2024 in the JCDC Creative Writing Competition. Her poems, Lost, Embrace, and Up the Temp, are featured in Recesses Zannian Issue 1. She currently writes under the pseudonym at ZOE Writes the Heart on her Instagram Living, where she shares her poetry and creative expressions. Ladies, let's welcome Monique Rowe to the stage. Welcome, Monique.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. As was stated, I am Monique Rowe, and I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience, and I'm truly grateful for this opportunity. I met the founder for this great festival at JCDC Writing Competition, and before that, I've always known her in my community, and I'm grateful for the honor that she extended to me being here. Just give her a round of applause. And it's so ironic that one of the pieces that I will be doing is so similar to the Tar Baby by Miss Suzette Bennett. Bless the Lord. We are church people, so you see, you have to bear with me. Amen, hallelujah, bless the Lord, I will come. Bless God. So the title of this poem is called The Darkling. Cursed, wretched, ugly black thing. The blades of their words carve patterns, deep roots of treachery and sorcery. Yet we dare to dream a different tale of Nubian goddesses and chocolate fairies with dark tresses, thick and coy, weaved and braided, pretty little black thing. Our steel crowns forged from the back of Africa unravel the gold redeem. Dark one, they fear you. But don't let the twisted fear trample your shine. You, my dear princess, are a gem. Black and beautiful, a classic. Molten in the abyss of time, chiseled from the depths of pure obsidian and branded, yes, branded with strength and courage, an incomparable desire to fight against prejudice, lies, poisonous lies, fabricated to mangle us, so we never discover the hidden diamonds beneath dark, dark coal. The Darkling by yours truly, Monique Rowe. And this other piece is called Behind the Cage. And just a little backstory on this piece. It was during the time when there were a lot of domestic violence and violence against women and children. So as you listen, you will see those themes playing out. Behind the cage. The keys dangles from her hands outside the gold blinds, promising a softer side inside. Never once had it hinted at the twisted skeletons lurking in the shadows, nor the tattered heart beaten to a slow pulse. And the crimson floors wept from the sudden downpours, soiling it over and over, mercilessly. Because it had witnessed this brutality before, love implodes. Its shards glisten with thick blood, shattering hopes that one day he will change. But no, love insists, stay. The double-edged sword cuts deeper, scarring forever. Love got you in a kerfuffle. Leave and you die. Stay, you have given them consent. The executioner punctured sealed wounds. They ruptured, spilling poisonous love. So this is the twisted reality you call love. So she has learned from love. Sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side, because even prisons have open doors. That was Behind the Cage. Now this other piece is called Becoming, and it's basically transitioning from a different stage of who I was to who I am now. Unsettled, the spell wove tighter, choking the life out of me. The inner turmoil intensified, trying to stop the rapid conversion. The tendrils dug deeper, morphing into my consciousness. Relax, they say, it will get easier. But when at a crossroads, has it ever been a breeze? Tighter still the thread spun. Anxiety lashed at me, and fear breathed heavily down my back, daring me to loosen my grip on the blanket. Who am I, and what do I do? Do I silently accept the shifting sands of my soul, or do I lose myself, drowning in the dark whirlpool of new beginnings? Days pass, months came, and years have gone. Autumn falls and winter scars, dry spring, hot summer, alas, breathe. It is inevitable as the sun rising tomorrow, sudden as the raindrops from plain skies. Stop, take it all in, shed the weight of the whole self, feel the churns and laugh at the twists and turns, and so I embrace the new skin, fitting into a different mold, becoming the new me. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Monique. That was indeed beautiful. Very powerful words, powerful voice. Certainly had such beauty to this event. David, let's move on.
You know, I know Monique for a long while, and I've never heard Monique express herself in such words clear that nobody could misunderstand. Oh God, Monique, we need to talk after the show, yeah? We need to talk. I have work for you. Ladies and gentlemen, are you enjoying the show so far? Are you enjoying the show so far? Yeah, if you don't want to check in, you know. Yes. So we move from the young poets and we're moving to the seasoned poets. And at this point in time, it's my pleasure to invite a multi-award winning Jamaican writer and recent social work graduate with background in healthcare as a pharmacy technician. He is the recipient of 21 JCBC Creative Writing Awards, has had in poetry featured in the Sunday Cleaner. Alan writes poetry, fictions, and short stories that explore healing, identity, and the human spirit. His debut devotional work, Abiding in Him, Devotions for a Deeper Connection, invites readers into deeper intimacy with God. A passionate storyteller with a heart for ministry and transformation. This gentleman is prepared to step into the public speaking life and coaching with dreams of becoming a novelist and inspiring audiences worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Alan Lindfester as he comes to share in the beauty of what he creates.
It's my first night. So I want to thank Miss Bent for inviting me to this wonderful event. It's my first time being at an event like this, and it is indeed an honor. So I've been writing for the past 21 years, but this is actually my first time doing public speaking. So I will share a few of my poems. And the first poem is titled Love. Love is beautiful, love is magical. Love is beautiful, love is magical. It is not self-righteous nor egotistical. For lasting happiness, love is essential. Love is the greatest gift of all. Love is a gift which one should treasure. No one can understand love's true measure. It leaves one with feelings of endless pleasure. Love is the greatest gift of all. Love stands tall like a skyscraper. It does not flicker like a dying fire. Love conquers all like a great warrior. Love is the greatest gift of all. Love is not jealous. Love is not possessive. Love is not mean-spirited and abrasive. Love is forgiving. Love is sensitive. Love is the greatest gift of all. Love is patient. Love is thoughtful. Love is not arrogant, proud, or boastful. Love rejoices when one is successful. Love is the greatest gift of all. It is not love's mission to make one blue. The great thing about love is kind and true. It's refreshing and it makes one feel anew. Love is the greatest gift of all. There is nothing like unconditional love, like the love of the Father up above. Love is peaceful and gentle, like a dove. Love is the greatest gift of all. So, the next poem will be about nature, and I'm sure we all love some element of nature, whether it be the sunshine, the rain, or just a gentle breeze. So the title is Nature. The sun beats down on me like a fiery furnace with scorching intensity. The breeze caresses my cheek like a mother's thumb and gently comforts me. The trees sway from side to side like a woman dancing to a lovely tropical beat. The birds soar overhead like a fleet of airplanes seemingly unfazed by the heat. The flowers blossom and bloom like the heart of a mother, and what a sight to behold. The ants march along like an army of soldiers, strong, fearless, and bold. The rain suddenly comes with a heavy downpour, turning the dirt into mud. The animals camp up a shelter, and then the puppy slips and falls on its side with a thud. The rain stops and the sun begins to shine, and the grass glitters with dew. Then once again, the surroundings look heavenly, beautiful, radiant, and anew. So the next point is about jealousy, and I'm sure many of us have instances where we feel that we're jealous of someone, not necessarily in a bad way, because we can be happy for them, but at the same time, have a little twinge of jealousy towards them. So the title is Jealousy. Jealousy, that green-eyed monster, it ruins relationships, reduces companionship, and severs partnership. Jealousy, the green-eyed monster, it causes resentment, it reduces contentment, it is to one's detriment. Jealousy, that green-eyed monster, it breaks the heart, rips people apart, and stings like a dart. Jealousy, that green-eyed monster, it causes love to wane, and leaves heartache and pain. It has no possible gain. Jealousy, that green-eyed monster, is a destructive thing, on it do not cling. It requires healing, that green-eyed monster. Replace it with love that's gentle like a dove, like the Father's above. So this next point is about a Jamaican athlete, and she's one of the greatest athletes of all time, and she has many qualities that I'm sure a lot of us would like to emulate. And I'm sure that after reading this, you should have an idea who this person is. So the title is Track Star. She's an athlete, a world-famous track star. She has a fan base like that of a rock star. She's built for speed, just like a race car. She's revered by hordes of people, near and far. She has a career that allows her to travel the world over, from Amsterdam to the White Cliffs of Dover. She owns a mansion, a Cadillac, and a Range Rover. She rubs shoulders with the likes of Adele and Danny Glover. She's a force to be reckoned with. She's a trailblazer. She pays no attention to remaining detractors. She gets motivation from her millions of cheerleaders. So she's unbothered by the criticism of her naysayers. She places through the track as if her legs are on fire. The fortune nor the fame is not her sole desire. She wants to inspire those for whom success is hard to acquire. Before every race, she whispers a prayer. She's from humble beginnings, so she loves to give back. She's a hero, both on and off the racetrack. She helps those in need, those in suffering and lack. She gives scholarships and makes donations to people both white and black. She's a track star, a superstar, and a household name. On the track, she has a hunger that no one can tame. Yet still, she's not boastful or puffed up by fame. Despite the backlash from the haters, she's still on top of her game. So, can anyone guess who this track star is? Yes, it's Shelly Ann. next going is about Jamaican culture, and Jamaica has a rich cultural heritage. So the title is Sweet Jamaica. Sweet Jamaica is the land of wood and water, the perfect place to raise your son and daughter. If you go on the construction site, there's a man and it's smarter. Go and leave yourself by phone, you get a case as brother. When you feel down, Jamaicans will get it right. No matter how true we get bad, you must say it right. When Grandpa wants to tell a story, you wait until night. And on Easter time, there's a picnic at night. We are mixed breed. We have China with bad hair. And the Ghana, they say, a bad hair. For a reason, we are not dread. We have some bossy woman with a tough like iron leg. And the rest of the them are gold, green, and red. Come one, come all, Jamaica is the place to be, where the love make man or climb a tree. You're African far from me, dog, so you don't catch flea. The enjoyment is so much that you have to cry free. So this next point is it's also about Jamaica, but it's about breathtaking beauty of Jamaica. And start with beautiful Jamaica. Okay. Beautiful Jamaica, the land of my birth, is the most magnificent country on all of planet Earth. Visitors to the island will get their money's worth. It will be a time of excitement, laughter, and mirth. Beautiful Jamaica, the land that we love, with beautiful blue skies, exotic birds soaring above, and the body will carries by a breeze, gentle like a dove. Anyone arriving on this island will instantly feel the love. It has the most spectacular attractions, many will agree, such as white sand beaches against the deep blue sea, cascading waterfalls that will fill one with glee, and nature walks for those who want to sightsee. There are kites of all sizes dancing in the island breeze. The sheer joy of the island will put your mind at ease. One will enjoy the exotic beauty from the flowers to the bees, and wonderful memories they will want to seize. The amazing cuisine will leave you on a high. This island has the most beautiful sunset in the sky. You will be awestruck and left saying, like mine, to this paradise you won't want to say goodbye. Come with your parents, spouse, son, or daughter. You will see why this island may seek after. Your experience will be filled with joy and laughter. Beautiful Jamaica, land of wood and water. Once again, I would like to thank Ms. Ed for inviting me. And I recently published a book. It's a 30-day devotional titled Abiding in Him. It's available on Amazon. And I also have a few copies. God bless you all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are running late. Suzette, we have to do a break in the program because one of our awardees has to go. So I'm going to break and do the award so she can go. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we have some special awards that we're going to do just now, because your recipients are elderly and they need to go. And so we have this Deborah Brown Memorial Award. This award celebrates and promotes the spirit of volunteerism. It is awarded to individuals who have volunteered in the social or literary arena in St. Thomas for at least 10 years. And this year we have 2 awardees. The first awardee is a woman who believes in the power of God. She resides in London for 26 years and worked as a nurse for 25 years at the St. Charles Hospital. She returned to Jamaica in 1984 and was one of the founding members of the Returning Resident Association in St. Thomas. She resided in Albion and volunteered as a nurse for 20 years at the Princess Margaret Hospital from 1985 to 2005. The Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest salutes this phenomenal woman for her spirit of volunteerism and for sterling service to the parish of St. Thomas. The first recipient of the Zipporah Brown Memorial Award for 2025. The award will be presented by Mr. Newton Affleck, and I ask Mr. Newton to come to the floor, please, as we are about to salute a phenomenal woman. And the first award, the Zipporah Brown Memorial Award for 2025, goes to Mrs. Mavis Warren.
Come on, put some applause on that one.
The Zipporah Brown Memorial Award 2025. We are the awardee number 1, awardee number 2. The culture and history of Jamaica are enhanced by highly visual storytelling. It was common practice in Jamaican households for the elders to tell children stories. The trick Reverend Nancy, the crafting of Big Boy, and the wisdom of Auntie Roche have all enriched our experience. The hills of white horses overlooking the sea lives a storyteller whose father died when she was only 7 years. Her mother later remarried a gentleman who introduced her to the art of storytelling. She shared these stories with her classmates and thus her reputation grew as a storyteller as she worked with children and adults. She worked closely with the Jamaica Library Service to keep the precious art form alive. In 2019, she collaborated with the Jamaica Library Service to observe 100 days of celebration for the 100 years of the birth of Louise Bennett Olympus. So, the second recipient of the Zipporah Brown Memorial Award for 2025 goes to Miss Yanti Hamilton. Presentation over there. We ask Mr. Newton Affleck to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good night. For the evening is gone, it's night now. And I must first say, though we are late, I am engaged to the speaker. I am engaged to him. I never engaged when I was born. Engaged years of age, I never been engaged. But I'm engaged to him, so he will prepare to come to wedding. Brian Nancy, same boring. So I'm going in at the village and I say I want to take out the common sense then. And he go up to go hard common sense. And he went out there with him pen and paper on him back. And when he go there, he pick up, and tell the bag full. When the bag full, Hanansi say, yes, I've got every common sense. So Hanansi went to a tree and stand up, start to climb the tree, and put the bag on his belly. A little boy come and say, what a stupid man like this. You can't put bag on your belly and climb tree. You is the stupidest man me ever see. And I say, drop the bag and leave up on the boy. I run up in the tree. That my young children. River bank Kobale. Light up the place. River bank Kobale. Mama did it Kobale. One did it Kobale. Take them, put them down the alley. River bank Kobale. River bank Kobale. None of them Kobale. One did it Kobale. Take them, put them down the alley. River bank Kobale. River bank Kobale. Me I can't be husband tonight because I need to go to River bank Kobale. River bank Kobale. None of them Kobale. One did it Kobale. Take them, put them down the alley. There's a food and pen. Are you breathing? Are you doing? Are you keeping? Take a piece of shit from me. River bank. River bank. No, did it. What is it? Take him, put him down there. God bless you. I'm
So we had her first segment story. She gave us her analysis story. And so we appreciate that so much from DNT Hamilton. We know that we start today, so we are going to be cutting the program, some of the things we won't be able to do. And so at this time, I'm going to introduce you to our final poet. She hails from the district of Woodburn in St. Thomas. She received merit, bronze, silver, and gold awards in the Jamaica Creative Writing Competition in 2019, 2021, and in 2023. Her debut novel, White Juice, Brown Sugar, topped the Best Novelist Award in 2021 in that competition. She was the Jamaica Library Service St. Thomas Parish champion in the National Reading Competition in 2019, in 2020. In 2021 and 2022. And she was parish runner-up for the 21 and over category. She puts God at the center of her writings while simultaneously showcasing his overt and covert presence in everyday life. Poetry is her forte, and she is the author of Writings from the Heart. You can even journey by a Jamaican Bird, which was published in 1995. She's the author of the children's book, Red is the Color of Love. Suzette, our next author, she was an author panelist on the Dr. Rosie Milligan's Black Writer Story 2022, which featured her book, Love Ocean, Origin Ocean. And as Ms. Lou said, as I'm about to present to you Suzette Bent, let's clap her now. Let's go.
Jam UK, how do you know? Well, I am just going to read one poem, River Memories. Sitting on a small boulder with a basin, washing my clothes and taking a swim. Mama had loads of clothes. She beat them on the rock stones. The river gurgled went shallow, and its big stones went hollow. The river silent went deep, and in there crayfish and janga creep. River train from Easington to Poor Man's Corner. At the end, all we saw was a fording. Children and adults basked in leisure and swam in the meandering clear rivers. Teacher Brown took us as students there for cookout. We loved the fried chicken that simmered in our mouths, siphoned with waters deep and blue. The bottom of it, coward children didn't have a clue. Tower to tower we jumped and out. Sounds echoed as we danced and clapped. Even by the riverside on Monday, people gathered, worship and pray. Baptism of sinful souls as water dipped, after their whole bodies were dipped. Yellow's River witnessed During our time, tragedies and inglorious crimes, lignum vitis blossom swayed in the breeze, as we pick sweets up eaten by green leaves. Up and down the grind we run, eating ripe mangoes and having fun. The boys them like Alan Stone race on top of the bridge, beating down the bus below in a flash. Brave hearts jump in the deep pool, somersaulting in the air, trembling cold. If white people stop at the river, as children we ran for cover. We swore they were catch a man. We refused to move without a policeman. Memories of our waters flowed in my mind. They relaxed my heart as I unwind. A river that brought up thousands of memories that will remain in my mind as indelible stories. The last one, Jamaica, I am back. I died. They lied. They said it was of natural cause, but it was otherwise. It was man-made murder. They did it slow. I cried. Secret tears long before I died. Jamaica, the one who did it, you know. But no, I am back. I am slow, swift, with a dreadful, revengeful eye. My name is Melissa. Do you feel me? I am a hurricane that skips mountains but crush plains. You took me out, but I returned slow, deadly, and God made. I eyed and cried for Kobe. She was mine, but you stole her away. Slowly and deadly they took what's mine. So I returned slowly and deadly, taking what's theirs. And I don't care. Nothing I will spare. Jamaica, I am Melissa. I returned in a hurricane. Jamaica, open your eyes. I did what I did. My name has silver in it. I am Hurricane Melissa.
This year the award goes to The Boy and the Bird. The 2025 Alexander Johnson Memorial Award goes to Stephen Young, is not here, and the girl Shayna Lee Smith. Is Shayna here? Alright, Shayna Lee. Let's collect the award from Cheryl Anderson will present that award.
Put your hands together for Miss Smith. She's collecting an award.
The next award, so let's clap around there. The next award we have is the Violent Car Promising Young Poet Award. This award encourages students specifically specifically at the Islington Primary and Infant School, who show keen interest in poetry, whether as an orator or creator. And the 2025 Violet Carr Memorial Award goes to Anicia. Where's Anicia? Is she here?
She's not out. She's sleeping.
Oh, she's sleeping. All right, so let's clap her on the way.
So you know why she's sleeping? She's sleeping.
And Suzette, you'll have to help me with the final award, the Pauline Johnson Best Performance Award for Young Poet. Is this going to be based on the audience response award? All right.
Yes.
So this award promotes reading and recital of poems. It is awarded to the most promising young poet at the Champion Key Poetry and Storytelling Fest 2025 during the Young Poet segment. And based on the response of the audience.
Tar Baby. Yes. Give her up. She's our Star Baby. I wish there was more applause for Star Baby. That too soft and thank you.
Our Tar Baby is our Star Baby.
Yes, she is.
And David, could you please read that final acknowledgement for the sponsors, please?
Yes, so once again we just want to acknowledge our sponsors for this evening's production, Mr. Newton Affleck, Mr. Ralston Wilson, ID Minimalism, Mr. Robert Johnson, Miss Melanie Brown, Mr. O'Neill Johnson, Miss Marigold Weber Smith, Miss Daphne Gallant, and the Walker family. Please put your hands together for our wonderful sponsors who made all this possible. This was indeed an enriching evening, and I was glad I was here. Earl?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 more items to go, which is the vote of thanks and the MC's closing remarks. As I said, in the interest of time, we have to cut some of this stuff, but I assure you understand how persons do need to be voted. And so, Suzette, you have 1 minute to do your vote of thanks. 1 minute.
Good night, everybody. 1 month ago, I never thought this would be possible, so I just say, thank you, Jesus! I thought the sponsors, the little people, the big people, the small people, the thank you. All of you know the name, we don't want to call one and forget everybody, so all of you, give me the little one, we thank you. We thank Miss Henry. Thank you for opening your doors to me. I thank the performers, the poets, the artists, the children, the temple, and all of you show up the temple. Fabian, the MCs, everybody. If you forgot anybody, forgive me. We thank the whole of you. Thank you, Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now ask my co-MC 30 seconds to make his closing remarks. Vote MC, 30 seconds.
This evening was a phenomenal evening. Please put your hands together for your lovely, wonderful self. I enjoyed every bit of it. It was my first time here. And if I know Miss Susan, it would not be my last. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed sharing stage with you, Earl. It was really, you know, the old and the young, you know, the good twisted, right? I'm not calling you old enough, I'm just calling you senior. It was a wonderful evening spent here, and I just want to say to those who made it possible, you did yourselves proud, and this function was a success. If that is true, make some noise in the room. Yes.
Thank you, David. Certainly an absolute pleasure sharing the MC function with you, David. And when Suzette told me about this function, I said, do you have an MC? She said, yes. I said, what do you want us to go MC? She said, what? I love that. And so I just went to Suzette a couple of months ago, but I thought it necessary to make a contribution. This is the parish of my birth, and it has been my absolute pleasure being here with you this afternoon. We hope you thoroughly enjoyed it as much as we did. We enjoyed hosting you. We thank all our guest performers, our poets, our storytellers, our authors, our children, parents, visitors, Henry, and all persons who have been here. Without your support, we would not have been able to make 2025 Jam UK Poetry and Storytelling Fest a success. Would you say it was a success? Let me hear it by your applause. So we thank all the persons who have journeyed. We have Duffus, we have Chauncey, Harrison, we have Alan, we have Lamar, Monique, and all the persons who have been here. We have absolutely enjoyed it, and we look forward to your support next year, this time. Even if Susan doesn't invite me, I'll come as a participant. And so if you want to have us again another time, let us know. It was our absolute pleasure, and we ask that you get home safely. Until then, what good?